Don't judge the lipstick choice. I'm trying to find a red lipstick that suits me. This is more of a fluoro orange, but we're just gonna roll with it because it's already on. Did I also change into my Creep It Real t-shirt for my Spooktober book haul TBR?
Spooky, scary skeletons and shivers down your spine.
Yes, I did. Hi, friends. Okay, so did I already film this video? Yes, I did. Did I also use a shitty little Temu microphone that made the audio quality terrible? Of course I did. And I love my editor because he's my brother and my best friend, and I'm like, he already does so much. I'm not going to try and get him to fuck around with the audio to make it clearer. So we're refilming. Lucky I have today off of work, and lucky it is a short week. I don't know if you're not from Australia. Do you guys ever get public holidays because of sporting events? Because we get two here in Melbourne. We get a day off in November for a horse race, and we get a day off in September for a football game. It is lit, and it's ironical.
Well, that's very ironical.
Because we get the Friday off, but the football grand final isn't till Saturday, so I have no idea why we actually get the Friday off, but good vibes this week. I'm vibing, I'm chilling, and I'm not hating this lipstick as much as I thought I would. Hey, ladies, lads, everyone in between, let's just get started because my poor brother is like rolling his eyes at me right now, okay? This is my October TBR. I generally read a lot more in October because I don't know why, it just, the last few years, I've coincidentally taken off a week in October. I don't know why October just ends up being the month where I take a week of annual leave, but it's happened the last couple of years and it's happened again this year, so hopefully that means I will get through a big chunk of these books, if not all of them. Another thing is that quite a few of these books are essentially just sequels to what I read last October, but I didn't have a channel last October, so I will explain some of it as I go through, okay? Cool. So first off, we have a couple of romances. So last year I read a book called Not the Witch You Wed by April Asher, which followed a witch and a werewolf basically fake dating to keep both their families off their backs. This year I'm going to be reading Not Your Ex's Hexes, which follows the sister of the main character from the previous book and a half demon, I believe, who basically agree for a friends with benefits type of situation. And things happen. So it's not super spooky, it's a little bit Halloween-y, but like I think supernatural romances are the only ones I could probably get away with in October, apart from a different subgenre which we will get into later. In keeping with the theme, to team with the theme,
And it sort of teams with the theme.
last year I read Go Hex Yourself, which follows a human who thinks she's applying for a job for like Magic the Gathering, the card game. She thinks it's a job at the company that creates the cards, but it's actually an ad from a proper witch asking for help with magic. And our little human doesn't know that until she goes there and she sees that this woman is like fully believes into the magic systems, and this is her employer's nephew and he's a warlock, and he's like, get this human out of my space, I cannot stand her. But this book was amazing. I loved this book. She legit turns into a cat at one point. She makes a couple of friends in the magic world. You see some of his friends in the magic world. So this year I will be reading the sequel, What the Hex, which follows the main character's new friend from the first book, and this is the nephew's best friend who's basically been rejected by the rest of magic society, and she desperately wants to be a witch or warlock's familiar, so I reckon they're gonna end up working together. Similar to the last two books, we have got a sequel that I'm reading this year. So last year I read Clown in a Cornfield. It is a teen slasher. It was so good. Basically this small town has a mascot, which is a clown called Friendo, and one year, I think it's around Halloween, maybe not, I have no idea actually if it's set at Halloween or not, but one night a bunch of people start dressing up as Friendo the Clown and start slaughtering the town's teenagers. It was really good, loved it. It was very Scream, everything that's a good slasher I compare to Scream, if they have nothing in common. And I've been saving this book for spooky season, and it is Clown in a Cornfield 2, Friendo Lives. And this follows the same surviving characters from the first book. They've gone off to college, and I think Friendo is following them. I'm here for it. It's actually a hardcover because this book ended up being cheaper as a hardcover than a paperback. I don't understand how that works. I don't understand the book manufacturing process, but that just doesn't seem to make sense to me. But I'll take it. I like a hardcover. They're good. The next one I wanted to hopefully read is The House Across the Lake by Riley Sager. I have generally kept up to date with Riley Sager's releases, but I haven't read this one, and I haven't read the only one left, so I am falling behind. It's something that sits heavy on my shoulders because I love Riley Sager as an author so much. This book follows, I guess, a house across the lake. It's a widowed actress watching a glamorous couple living on the other side of the lake, and I think she saves one of them from drowning and they strike up a friendship, but like things probably aren't as nice as they seem because they never are, but I'm excited. I miss Riley Sager. I miss reading his books. I saw someone, straight up, this girl on TikTok that me and my friend Sarah kind of hate watch on the lowdown. She ranked all of Riley Sager's books. She put Home Before Dark and Lock Every Door at the bottom of the list, and those are my two favorites, and it destroyed my soul. Sarah hasn't read Riley Sager, so Sarah's just listening to me rant, and I'm like, what is she talking about? How could you put Home Before Dark at the bottom of the list? And then the girl on the TikTok was like, but it's been a while since I've read it, so you know, I don't really remember the plot. How could you forget? It blew my mind. So I'm very excited to read the newer Riley Sager books. This is again kind of a nod to my book wrap up from October last year, but I am reading another Chuck Palahniuk book. I think I've only ever read his books during October. I don't know why. I think it's just kind of worked out like that. But I've read probably 6 of Chuck's books now, and I either like fall in love with them head over heels. They are hilarious, they are dark, they are macabre. I also heard a YouTuber the other day, if I can remember to send my brother the link to this guy, I don't know how he pronounced macabre. I think he said macabre.
It's macabre.
Different strokes for different folks. Anyway, all of Chuck Palahniuk's books are obviously macabre. They all deal with something dark, something gruesome. Most of them I really, really enjoy. There have been a couple that I've just... like Lullaby. That is the one that sticks out of my head as like, I did not enjoy it. So this year I'm going to try reading Choke. This follows a guy who, from the vibes I get, he pretends to choke at restaurants, waits for some unsuspecting person to come on over, save his life. And because they've saved him from choking, they also kind of feel like they're responsible for him from that point on, and it has something to do with him trying to pay for his mum's medical bills. But I just don't know how disturbing is this gonna get? Like, look at that cover. It's a creepy looking cover. I just wonder if this is gonna be more of a funny thriller or if it's going to be a horror. But it's pretty short anyway. Next, this is a new addition to the list because I saw this sitting on my floor today. Oh my god. Oh my god. Whatever. I saw this sitting on my floor today, and I realized I haven't even picked this book up since I received it, and I was so intrigued when I first purchased it, and looking at it today, I'm like, okay, let's read it. It is called This Will End... Wait. Scratch that. It Will End Like This, okay? By Kyra Lee. This is basically a YA retelling of the Lizzie Borden murders. Obviously, I'm going to read it. I don't know if I have to tell you anything else about them. If you're a true crime girly like me, you know all about the Borden murders. Lizzie Borden took an axe, gave her father 40 whacks. When she saw what she had done, she gave her mother 41. If you know that rhyme, like that's based on a true crime, and this book is based on that true crime. Cool. I also wanted to try and read a Frida McFadden book this October, so I picked up Ward D because I think this is the most recent purchase of Frida's that I have gotten. Something about a med student staying overnight in a psychiatric ward, and that is all I know about it, but it is definitely a vibe. This is also, the font is massive. This book is 320 pages, but like the font size, I don't know if you can really tell, it's pretty big, so that's probably going to be a super quick book as well. Next, this book I'm probably going to read or start reading ASAP because I just got the audiobook of this in from my library. It is Murder in the Family by Clara Hunter. I have hauled this recently where the entire book is told in like interview transcripts and autopsy reports, and newspaper articles, and it's basically asking you, the reader, to try and solve the murder before the 6 experts in this book. So now that I have the audiobook from my library, I might start it soon because I've waited like a month and a half for the audiobook to come in. Next few I'm going to zip through. I have got Camp Slaughter by Sergio Gomez. I think this is just about a bunch of college kids renting out a cabin, and there are cannibals in the area, so they're probably going to get killed. And then similarly we have Taste Like Candy, which follows 8 girls entering a carnival for a scavenger hunt, but then a madman in a rubber mask coming to slaughter them all. So another fun little slasher. This one I think is going to, sorry, I'm wiggling around. I think this one is going to be a little bit more difficult for me to read. Firstly because it has been translated, and I just feel like sometimes books that I read that have been translated from different language just aren't translated. Not that they're not translated well, but something is lost in the translation, so sometimes I don't enjoy translated books. But this is called The Lost Village by Camilla Sten, and it is being compared to a mix of The Blair Witch Project and Midsummer. Basically, a woman goes to this small abandoned town to find out what happened there. Like one day, like all the people I think have just go missing, so they've decided to go explore with cameras and equipment, and something not good happens to them, I would suspect. I have a couple of more here. This book has not received good reviews or good vibes or anything, but it is called Hide by Kirsten White. I love Kirsten White's writing. Every book of hers I've read I have enjoyed, and this follows a bunch of teenagers, and the challenge is to spend a week in an abandoned amusement park, and if you don't get caught you win a lot of money, but something starts going wrong. People start disappearing. The competition ends up being like a lot darker than it is initially pitched as. And I also want to read another Kirsten White book after this, but I'm trying to read a lot of the books I own in order of release date, so I'm going to try and read Hyde before I jump into Mr. Magic. This year I also wanted to read a Grady Hendrix book, so I picked up, well, I haven't picked up, I've owned this book since it came out, but I've picked it off of my shelves, and it is the Southern Book Club's Guide to Slaying Vampires. I think the title basically explains the entire book. It follows a group of housewives who have a book club, and a new guy moves to town and they suspect him of being a vampire. So this knocks off 2 challenges for myself. I wanted to read another Grady Hendrix, and I also wanted to read a vampire book, so hopefully this actually is about vampires. It isn't about like, oh, we mistook him for a vampire, but he's actually a really nice guy. So yeah, I really hope he's actually evil and has fangs and is eternal, immortal, whatever. Almost kind of the last on this list, I think, is another challenge of mine. I wanted to read a Ruth Ware book. I've read a single Ruth Ware book in my lifetime, and yet I own everything she's ever published. So I decided that I'm going to pick up The Lion Game. Even if I don't finish this one, it's not going to dissuade me from Ruth Ware. I've heard that her books were just at the very start, when she first started releasing books, that they were just like missing something. They were missing a little bit of something, and as each book has been released, she's gotten progressively better. So going back to her old books, if I don't enjoy them, it's fine. I've got other books by hers that I can try. And I think this follows a group of possibly high school friends or college friends reuniting, and they go off to an island to spend a week together, and they all start getting killed off, possibly, I think. When was this released, actually? Let's have a look, see how old. It's only from 2017. It's not that old, so hopefully I will enjoy it. And what I think is going to be the last book on this TBR, because the stack of books sitting next to me is mighty intimidating. We have got Haunting Adeline. Now, I've actually already started this. I'm 500 pages into this, but I think this is a good romance for spooky season. Like, to reference what I was saying before, I think this sort of dark romance is probably a good vibe for Halloween and spook season. So I will hopefully be finishing the rest of this one today, and then Hunting Adeline will be added to my October TBR. Cool. This is going to be dangerous, guys. But this is, oh, Far out. I hate my life. Why did I do this? Why did I think this was a good idea? Oh my god, oh my god, oh my god. This is my, oh my god, get out of my light. Let's move this way. This is my October TBR. Happy spook season, everyone. I hope you enjoy it. Here in Australia, we don't really celebrate Halloween because we are boring and people don't like having fun. So I hope that you enjoy Halloween wherever you may be celebrating it. And creep it real.